Hey everybody, welcome back. I am the EagleFan. This is my channel. I generally react to things. It's usually music. Today is something a little bit different. I wanted to go with a reaction to a list today. This is, and it's something that caught my eye because it's a game that I play. This is 10 things that longtime Skyrim players hate. And this is a gameranx video. I've always been intrigued by a lot of the gameranx videos. So I'm curious. Because I have played Skyrim, took some time off from Skyrim, came back. I've been playing it a bit more lately. In fact, I tend to play it on my Twitch Sunday night streams when I do them, which I'm hoping to get back to at a regular basis now. But it's been a little crazy the last few weeks, so I've been away from it a little bit, but I want to get back because it's fun. Generally, I don't really have many people there. Evil Chicken might show up from time to time, and that's always just fun, just sitting there playing games and talking. So I'm going to extend another invite out to him for tonight. I'm sorry, I'm saying that today. I'm actually recording this on a Sunday. This is actually coming out on a Friday. So also going to try to get to see if he wants to be out there again next Sunday. I've got some other ideas. We got some things where hopefully maybe we can play some games together and kind of go from there and just talk about stuff. It might get a little interesting with some of the conversation. We'll see where things go. But anyway, enough about that. Let's see the 10 things that longtime Skyrim players hate and see how many of these things actually are things that I dislike as well. Let's get over to this other screen first. There we go. Okay. Let's do this.
Many of us have played Skyrim since it came out back in 2011. From time to time, I even still pick it up myself. And there's tons of stuff to love, but there's tons of stuff to not love. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 things
Also
longtime Skyrim players hate. Starting off at number 10, it's playing Skyrim Unmodded. Even after all these years, the OG game is still really buggy in places. There are bugs present in it now, in 2021, that were there all the way back in 2011 when it was originally released. Of course, there are mods to fix that, but the fact that some issues went never addressed by Bethesda for such a long period of time mean that for a certain group of Skyrim fans, the game is considered unplayable without mods. I mean, it's not really true. The game is fine to play without modding, but for a lot of fans, that is the only way to play. It's no secret that Skyrim has maybe the largest, most active, and probably best modding community out there. Like, if there's one older game that is still around today that's well known for its modding scene, it's Skyrim. They run the gamut from basic bug fixes to total conversions, and there's so much good stuff there that it's kind of mind-boggling. And it's not just like Macho Man as a dragon or Thomas the Tank Engine as a dragon. There's a lot of really polished, interesting mods out there. But here's the thing, most people don't play Skyrim with any mods at all. The PC population is big, but it's only a small slice of the Skyrim pie. The console players only get a small sampling of Bethesda approved mods for the console, and I have to imagine most players just ignore it. They're totally fine playing the game vanilla, but for hardcore and long-term people, it's the mods that keep them coming back, and not like the stellar, untouched, pristine original gameplay. Obviously the game's good on its own, but it's also old and buggy.
Okay, before we get to number 2, I confess I am not currently playing the game with any mods. The original game, I started getting a bunch of mods for. I've since gotten that 10th anniversary edition. That's what I've been playing lately. I've actually been playing that unmodded. So I actually probably should look into that and look into getting some of these mods, because there are some bugs out there that do get a little annoying. So maybe I'll look into that and see what I can find.
At number 9 is Nazim. There are a lot of characters people pick on in Skyrim. There's Lydia, Delphine. Probably the most hated NPC of all of them, however, is this dude named Nazim. A lot of newer players may not even notice this guy. For some people, the annoyance starts almost immediately, but it's longtime players that really have a burning hatred for him. So he basically has one thing that he does. He stands near the entrance in Whiterun, one of the first towns you go to in the game, and says,
"Do you get to the Cloud District very often?" Oh, what am I saying? Of course you don't.
Like, just a blatant display of disrespect for the Dragonborn from Nazim here. Shocking. There's so much about this that rubs people the wrong way. The way he implies that you're a loser, the way he constantly repeats the line every time you pass him in Whiterun, the fact that the Cloud District isn't even really fancy. Like, there's so much about it that makes people mad. Another infuriating aspect to him is the fact that he's got a key to a place called Wintersand Manor, which you can pickpocket, but the key doesn't actually go anywhere. Wintersand Manor was a place that the developers took out of the game, but the key's still there. You can pick it up, and to add insult to injury, you cannot drop it. It's stuck in your inventory now, forever taunting you with a key to a place that does not exist. But let's be real, the main reason everybody hates this guy is because he's got a dumb, condescending line that he just repeats constantly. Every single time you come to Whiterun, and for longtime players, it's gotta be like hundreds of times, you're forced to hear this random dude make fun of you with a lame insult. I literally ended the Civil War and saved this country by myself. Just shut up. At number 8 is Draugr Tombs. Dungeon design in Skyrim can get repetitive.
Okay, I've got to say, yes, cannot stand that character for exactly what they're saying. It's repetitive. It's the attitude. It's just very not pleasant. Really tired of that guy. And he's there every time. I thought he was quote-unquote unkillable. So I'll have to look into that because it looked like he killed him in that. So it might have been a mod that was being used there. So definitely have to look into mods now. See if I can get rid of the guy. He serves no purpose that I know of. If anybody out there does play and does know that, oh, there's some weird purpose that he serves, let me know. Let's hear about the Draugr.
After a while, and there's no tile set more common and more hated than the Draugr Tombs. These things are everywhere. Many quests send you to explore them, and once you've been to one of them, you have been to pretty much all of them. In some ways, caves are potentially more repetitive, but for whatever reason, the shape and style of Draugr Tombs just starts getting really annoying to see. A big part of it's probably the Draugrs in them, which turn into annoying damage sponges at higher levels. To be really reductive, a lot of the quests in Skyrim boil down to go to dungeon, kill a bunch of Draugr, get an item, leave, rinse, repeat. If you do absolutely every quest in the game, the dungeons start to look really samey. There's Draugr, some spiders, a word wall, same 2 puzzles that show up way too often. Hell, even the final dungeon of the game is a basic Draugr tomb with a block puzzle and a claw door puzzle. It's not necessarily that any of this is bad, it's just a case of familiarity breeding resentment. There are too many Draugr tombs in Skyrim, and if you play the game enough, you will start getting tired of them. At number 7 is home decorating. The fact that
I will say, I can sort of agree. I'm not like, oh my god, I hate it. But after a while, it's like, oh, more Draugr I gotta kill. But I just kind of deal with it as part of the landscape. This one isn't like an overall outright hatred. I just hate the fact that I always get over encumbered because I can never carry all that loot.
that you can customize the interior of your house is actually an awesome thing in Skyrim. The problem, it comes from when you're trying to put stuff on shelves or move things around while the in-game physics go crazy. There's so many little annoyances when dealing with decorating, and it's something only the really hardcore players who love building up their house and displaying stuff will even start to notice. Well, okay, basically anyone can notice how weird the physics in this game can be at times. Usually it's not that big of an issue though, but if you want to create a space that actually looks really nice, And the whole grab system the game employs goes from being an amusing and janky thing to screw around with to the bane of your existence. You will always be knocking things around, moving stuff you don't want to move, or colliding with things that don't look close at all. Most annoying of all is when the physics just go crazy and all the loose objects in the house just go nuts and fly everywhere, completely ruining whatever it is that you're going for. It's hilarious to watch, but if you're actually trying and not just goofing off, this is beyond annoying. It's another case of Bethesda physics in motion. They can be your funny friend, but also your worst enemy when you actually care. And number 6 is the creepy children.
Okay.
This
I've got to say, yes. I absolutely love... I've been playing around with the houses, especially the houses that you can build on the plots of land. Absolutely love that part. That's fun. But generally, once I get the house purchased and buy the stuff for inside the house, other than putting things on mannequins or weapon racks or messing around trying to get things in and out of display cases. Well, out of display cases, it's easy, but getting things put in the display case just the way you want it is a pain. I don't even mess with the tables and that stuff because of exactly this. There's no way to really do it easily without using a console command, or maybe there's a mod out there that will help with that. But it doesn't really seem to matter anyway, because I don't want to do it, because there's been too many times where I'm just walking around the house and all of a sudden something gets knocked off a shelf that, like, I wasn't even near that. Why did it get knocked off the shelf? And at that point in time, forget about trying to put it back on. So anyway, let's keep seeing what we got.
You're probably going to only notice if you go deep into making a family or adopting kids, but the children in Skyrim are super creepy. Like, really creepy. They all look like little clones of one another. They always have that weird blank expression on their face that just makes them look like weird dolls. The creepiest and most bizarre thing about them is when they do animations that aren't built for children, like sitting down in a chair or using an alchemy station, they suddenly transform to having the proportions of an adult. I am not sure what's weirder, when they shrink back to normal when the animation is over, or when they sometimes stay adult size, so now they're a man-sized child walking around town. Either way, not good. And number 5 is Blackreach. Remember this place?
I haven't noticed that enough. I've adopted a couple of children in the game, but I'll be honest with you, I am out adventuring so much other than coming back and giving them gifts and an allowance. I don't get to see enough of them other than trying to keep them from fighting, and generally leave them with Lydia, who's my house Carl at that particular location. Anyway, let's keep going.
It's an awesome idea to explore the first time you get there. There's a real sense of mystery to everything, like you're the first person to have ever entered this unknown and undisturbed place in hundreds of years. But when you have to go through it the second time, or a third, or a fourth, or more, it just goes from being this massive, cool, open area to just another place you have to get through. It doesn't help that the few ways to get there involve passing through some pretty big dungeons on their own, so your inventory will already be full by the time you actually get there. So, like, what are you gonna pick up there that matters? It's not like a universal opinion or anything. A lot of people still really like Blackreach, but there are a ton of longtime players who just find the place bothersome and annoying to go through after a while. Worst of all is that for a lot of people, the feeling of wonder disappeared after actually exploring the place and finding out there's not really a lot of interest to see. There's actually very little to do in Blackreach. Combine that with the size and it becomes a place that's kind of more of an annoyance than anything else, which sucks because, at least to me, it's a really cool looking area and one of the most visually interesting in the entire series. And number 4 is annoying companions, and you know exactly what we're talking about.
Blackreach. Yes. I am not a fan. I thought it was... I wasn't even majorly blown away by it when I saw it. Not trying to be negative or anything there with that. It's just... It's... I don't know, it just seems easy for me just to get lost down there and be like, what am I really doing down here? There's not enough down there to justify being there. Sorry, I'm trying to hold back a sneeze at the moment here. Apparently my allergies have gone into hyperdrive the past couple of days.
Out here, Lydia blocking a door, or standing in front of your arrows, or ruining your stealth, or setting off a trap. Like, companion AI is not the best in this game, and there are many, many examples of these people, these NPCs, causing more problems than they solve. Worst of all is when they just kind of get lost on their own, or you set them to stay in one place so you can sneak around, but then when an enemy notices you, the companion immediately goes aggro and sets off the entire area. And don't get us started on the horses. Why exactly is it you, a horse, are trying to help me in combat? You are going to get killed, horse. Again, not for the first time. Like, we're only scratching the surface in terms of annoying stuff with companions here, but anyone who's played Skyrim long enough knows exactly what we're talking about. It is fun to roll around with a companion sometimes, but they can be more trouble than they are worth. And number 3 is the dragon.
Yes. I like having a companion with me once in a while if I'm going someplace where I need extra support or where that could help. But I hate everything they mentioned. I don't know how many times I've been, especially when you're in a dungeon and sometimes there's the room that you know is going to have a little bit of treasure in it because it's got a locked door you got to pick. And you pick the lock, you go in, and it's basically just a closet-sized room, but there's treasure in there. You get it, you turn around, and your companion is standing right in the middle of the doorway and just trying to get by them to get out is annoying as anything. Or even walking around in the house. That could even be not just as an companion, could be just as a housecarl. And they'll just be right there in the doorway, and you're like, I'm trying to get through. Please move. The other thing is, when you're lining up that shot, and you let go to take the shot, just as they walk right in front of you. I've had that several times. That's why I like if I can get a companion that's more of an at distance. Not a melee. If they either have magic from a distance or if they use arrows more than anything else. Because then they're doing their thing off to the side and not right in your way. But yes, that can be very annoying.
Dragon battles. The first time you actually see a dragon in Skyrim, it's this epic moment. It's awesome. Like, you're eventually going to have to go up against this thing. And when you do manage to take one down, you feel like this legendary hero. But then you fight another, and another, and another, and eventually these fights start to become an annoying roadblock rather than this awesome, memorable moment. Trying to hit these guys while they're flying around is annoying, even if you're like a good archer, and they will spend a lot of time flying around, which is not that bad. But after fighting them enough, those lulls in the battle go from a minor annoyance to a huge irritation, especially if you're in the middle of doing something else. If a dragon decides to attack a town and all the people scatter, you can't interact with anybody until it's gone, so you're basically forced to fight it if you want to turn in some quests quickly. Hell, if all you want to do is wander around and take in the scenery, the annoying screech of a dragon can ruin your nice little nature walk. A huge part of the appeal of Skyrim is actually just wandering around and doing whatever, and anytime a dragon appears as a distraction, even if they're not a danger to you anymore. Hell, especially if they're not a danger to you anymore. Like, what's the point? Where's the suspense? There are no stakes. At the end of the day, they can just be kind of awkward to deal with too. Once you get far enough in the game, even the valuables they drop aren't worth the effort, and their bones are so heavy they're not worth hauling around. Play the game long enough, and dragons go from being legendary encounters to annoying distractions. They're just not dangerous anymore, and they just waste your time. And number 2 is stealth archers, or really any game. Yes.
I've gotten to that point where I really hate, especially fast travel somewhere and you're walking, or even not fast traveling, even if you're just traveling somewhere, just walking somewhere, and you're like, I'm right near where I need to get to, and then all of a sudden you hear that music and you're like, oh, here we go. there's a dragon in the area, which means it's either going to aggro a bunch of things that I need to stay away from the area, or those things will start coming after me, and also the dragon at the same time, which just makes it more annoying. Or it's going to keep on flying away, and you can't do anything else until it's dead. The bones I don't mind in terms of at least getting the gold for them, other than the fact that, yes, they take up so much inventory space. It's exactly what he said. It's one of those things where early on when you're playing, especially when you first start playing, it's cool. Yeah, this is cool. I like fighting the dragons. But then after the 10th, 20th, 50th, 100th time, you're just like, oh, enough already. I've gotten so many dragon souls built up because I haven't done the Merrick quest line yet. So he doesn't show up and steal them. So I probably have more than enough to get all of my shouts now. But it's just very annoying, and a lot of times I'll just try to go the other way if I see it, until I don't hear that music anymore and I can fast travel somewhere out of it. Also, the guy at Riverwood keeps dying. The blacksmith. In many of the last several games that I've played. Tell me if it happens to you as well. A friend of mine was shocked when I told him about that because it didn't happen to him. But it's happened in multiple playthroughs now, where the guy that's the blacksmith there, the first dragon encounter that I have at that town, he gets killed. So there's no more blacksmith there. That's kind of annoying. It's strange that they allow that with there not being another option for you there as in terms of a blacksmith, but it is what it is, I guess. So we got 2 more to go. Let's see what we got.
Game-breaking builds. Here's the thing, players don't hate stealth archers because they're bad. Far from it, they actually hate them because they're too damn good. The second someone discovered just how overpowered the stealth archer build was in Skyrim, it practically ruined any other builds in the game. Of course, there are plenty of other ways to completely break the difficulty of the game. It's just that the stealth archer build is so powerful and so easy to do that it's hard to resist. You start a new game like, I'm gonna play Mage Knight or whatever this time. Then it takes forever to beat a single enemy and you're getting frustrated and you just switch back to stealth archer again. What makes this quote-unquote class so powerful is that stealth in general is very effective in Skyrim. Have enough points in it, basically nothing will notice you, even when you're standing practically right in front of it. Combine that with critical bonuses you get from attacking from stealth and a decent bow, and you'll be one-shotting enemies left and right. Funny enough, the stealth archer build shows up in Fallout 4 as well. It's basically just as good there. Like I said, it's not the only good build in the game. Using alchemy and enchanting can totally break the game as well, along with certain class and race combos, but stealth archer is just so easy that it is hard to resist. When 1 or 2 builds are so much better than the rest, you're left to wonder what's the point of ever doing anything else. Skyrim gives you a ton of options for how to build your character, but for certain players, about 80% of those options are totally pointless. They just go with what works best, and sometimes you kinda hate that. And finally, at number 1, it's trying to get all
Oh, looks like this is going to tie back to number 10. I confess I'm a stealth archer. Yes, I know it's one of those things that makes the game a little bit easier. But it's just a lot of the games that I've played with other styles, I always kind of like being that stealth character. And especially it's nice to be stealth and able to attack from a distance and kind of basically get your first shot in. So yes, I'm guilty. I'm a stealth archer and I like it. Although I also do one-handed, so I do switch back and forth when I'm trying to level up my one-handed and see if I can max that out. At this point, I've maxed out my stealth and my archery. So let's hear about the getting your mods to work issue.
Your mods to just work. Yep, everyone loves modding in Skyrim. Everyone's crazy for it. But here's the thing. As much as people love modding the game, there are times when they absolutely hate it too. There's a certain point where every modder goes overboard with mods and starts running into problems. Certain mods aren't compatible, different mods need to be in different places in the load order, or something just gets installed wrong. Maybe you download an outdated version of the mod, or maybe it changed, or someone else continue working on a different mod page. Lots of stuff. Downloading and installing mods can be fun, but it can also be a huge pain in the ass, especially when you get really crazy with them and try to start the game with like 200 mods activated at once. Trying to troubleshoot mod issues can be a total nightmare, but when you finally get it all working, there really is no better feeling. Then you play the game for like 10 minutes, admire your handiwork, turn it off, and start downloading more mods. It's the modder's curse. It's both fun and infuriating. When everything works great, I mean, that's great, but when it doesn't, it really sucks. That's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time.
I'm going to go back over to this other this other screen. I do find that interesting with the mods, because I remember when I was modding with the original game having those issues. With not modding this latest version, I haven't had that issue yet. I probably will start looking into the mods once I complete the playthrough I'm in right now, because I haven't really done a playthrough with this new version. So I like doing kind of a playthrough first and seeing what the base game provides me. And I like that they've incorporated some of the mods into this version of the game, and then see what other mods I need from there. So that was a gameranx top 10. I've been intrigued by them. There's some other channels I've been intrigued by as well, and keep an eye out in Soren and Scratch, and hopefully we're going to do a few reactions to a couple of them as well, because Evil Chicken is also big into Skyrim lately. So that'll be fun. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about the top 10? Do you have any other scenarios or issues with the game? What do you like about the game? Have you even played the game? If you've played the game, what do you think? Like it? Dislike it? Any thoughts? Any other suggestions on other games as well? And other videos, other channels to react to? Let me know. Always interested in finding more things in this rabbit hole that is YouTube. So thank you guys again. A like, comment, subscribe. Click on that little bell if you want to know when I have a new video out. It's always appreciated, never pressured. And please, be good to each other, because we definitely need more of that out there. Stay safe and healthy. A world with you in it is a better world. And keep your eyes to the sky, because you never know when you might find that perfect mod. Take care, everybody. Until next time.